Hello and welcome to the first lecture of this new section on building your personal cognitive augmentation system. In this course, AI-powered career strategy and adaptation. So in this particular section, we will talk about a few areas that you can do using AI to develop, your personal cognitive augmentation system that can help you develop the career strategy and adapt it to address the threats of job disruption and use opportunity of personalized cognitive augmentation. And the first of that we will talk about is how can you use AI as a research partner. So how do you think you can use AI as a research partner to scan trends, compare frameworks, summarize complex material, and ask counter questions? Any thoughts? You know, this is a potentially high leverage skill. You know, when used correctly, AI as a research partner doesn't just it doesn't replace your thinking. It expands it. Your thinking scope increases. And how can does that happen? And what can you do? Let's take a look at it. So first you need to set the right role for the AI. Before asking anything, what you need to do is to define the role that you want AI to play. And it can play any kind of a role you need to specify. Say, for example, you could say act as a market research analyst, or you could say act as a skeptical reviewer, or a strategy consultant, or as a academic synthesizer. Now, why is it important to set the right role? Because this AI gives better outputs when it knows how to think, not just what to answer, right? So that's why you need to set the right role, and this is how. Then you use AI to scan the trends, right? This gives you the breadth of the thinking that we were talking about. And here, what your objective should be to identify new and emerging themes, any changes in direction of happening, what are the changes happening, and if there are any weak signals that can indicate future things to happen. And for that, what you can do is give a simple prompt saying, scan recent trends in a particular domain that you're interested in, right? Mention that and then ask AI to group them into important major themes, emerging trends, and fading trends. So you're asking for three outputs. What are the major themes? What are the new things coming up? And what are the things that are going to disappear? And also you give it ask to explain why each matters and who it impacts. You can also give follow-up prompts, right? Once you get some output from AI, depending on your output and your interest, you can say which trends are likely to accelerate with AI adoption, right? Which trends are likely to accelerate, and what roles and capabilities will it most affect, right? And what are the second order effects that might appear? So that's how you can scan the trends using AI. And once you have the output from AI, you can decide which trends are relevant to your context, and remaining you just ignore as a noise, right? Then you can use AI to compare frameworks, right? And there your objective is to understand different ways to solve the same problem and what are the trade-offs between different approaches, different frameworks. And to get to doing that, what you can do is a simple prompt, saying compare framework A and framework B for a problem that you have in mind. And there you ask to contrast assumptions, strengths, weaknesses, and ideal use cases. Further, as you go down, there's another prompt that you can use depending on your need. And this is, to get more results. And you can say there that if these two frameworks disagreed, where would the disagreement matter most? And then once you get the output from AI, you can then choose frameworks based on the situation, not popularity. and then combine elements creatively. So use AI to compare your frameworks for your research. The third thing is to use AI to summarize the complex material. And there your purpose is to, minimize or reduce the cognitive load, time spent in reading, without losing the cautions, the nuances, and important things. And for that, what you can do is to give a simple prompt saying that summarize this material for XYZ audience, highlight key ideas, assumptions, limitations, and practical implications. And there are also advanced prompts that you can keep with you for use, which could be like, what is the most often misunderstood in this material? What is not said but implied? What is between the lines? What would a critic challenge? So these are some of the prompts that you can use to AI to summarize complex material. And then once you get the summary, you can sense check the logic and apply insights to the real problem. The fourth thing you can do is to use AI to ask counter questions, challenge your thinking. And this is where AI becomes a thinking partner, not an assistant. And there your prompts could be, ask where you ask, as in the prompt, AI to act as a skeptical reviewer. And you ask about what assumptions am I making, what could go wrong, and what would be an opposing expert argue. So these are the questions that can help you get counter questions. And there are other powerful counter prompts like what evidence would disprove this, the theory that we're talking about, right? And what happens if the opposite becomes true? And who benefits and who loses from this proposition? And what am I ignoring due to bias or experience? So that's the kind of prompts that you can use to ask counter questions. Use AI to ask counter questions. And then once you get these counter questions, decide whether these criticism is valid, and then you refine your judgment, which is what the purpose is of these counter questions, right? Once you have these four understood how to do this, you can chain these steps into a research workflow. You can create your workflow so that you can quickly do this, in which in the first step you explore by scanning the trends, and there AI widens your view. Second, then you structure by comparing frameworks where AI organizes the options, and then you compress, you summarize by giving the prompts that we saw earlier, where AI reduces the complexity. And last, you challenge by counter questioning, and where AI stress tests your thinking. You can use this loop for, again and again for strategy work, for career decisions, for analyzing the market, from course design and policy evaluation. So that's the chain of steps that you can use as for your research. Let's take a look at an example of careers of doing this. Let's say, for example, a career strategy use case. Now, the first step would be, as you know now, is to scan the trend, right? Trend scan, in which you could give a simple prompt: scan trends in AI's impact on professional careers over the next 5 years. So that's a simple prompt, right? Then the second prompt could be the framework comparison, in which you ask AI to compare skills based or role based career planning in an AI driven job market, and you will get outputs. The third step would be then to summarize, summarization step, in which you ask AI to summarize this research for mid career professional worried about job disruption. And then you do the counter questioning by prompting AI saying, what assumptions in this strategy could fail if AI advances faster than expected? So that's an example of how to use this AI as a research partner for career strategy use case, right? So what are the key rules that you should learn? You know, first is that AI can expand thinking, but you need to decide because only humans can decide. Second important rule is to remember to never accept the first answer as final because AI is AI and you need to counter question, think, and make a final decision. Also, important thing is to always ask for a second order question, subsequent a follow up question, because that leads to longer term thinking. And the last thing you need to remember is to use AI to challenge yourself, just not to confirm what you think, your biases, right? So these are four important rules to learn. What are the common mistakes that you should avoid? First, don't treat AI like a Google search engine. Second would be don't copy paste without thinking. The, these you need to see the relevance, you need to see appropriateness and decide what to use. Also, don't ask vague questions because vague questions will get even vague answers, right? And don't skip counter question because that's where the value is, if of thinking, of research, right? So these are the common mistakes to avoid. So if you were to pick one line that you would remember from this course, what would that be? I would say it would be to use AI to see more, think deeper, and decide better, not to stop thinking, right? So, final insight before we close this lecture. You know, the professionals who win in the AI era won't be those who know more, right? It won't be those people because there's so much knowledge already around the world in various search engines and AI now. But it'll be those who ask better questions faster with AI as their research partner. So what do we do next? So in the next lecture, we will take a look at second aspect of building your personal cognitive augmentation system, and that is of using AI as a thinking partner to stress test your ideas, ask what if scenarios, generate multiple perspectives, and identify blind spots. So that's what we will do in the next lecture. So thank you so much for watching this first lecture on building your personal cognitive augmentation system. I hope you're continuing to learn new things, continuing to enjoy, and I do look forward to see you again in the next lecture. Please feel free to message me if you have any questions. I'll be happy to answer your questions and do download the PDF file to take a look at anything that you need.